4 million creators in India who are serious creators, less than 1% of them actually make a sustainable income.
Indian creator compared to creators outside, क्या कुछ differences हैं and how do you see both of these economies playing out, or they are more or less similar only?
Content creator economy is different at all levels because there's a level of maturity in every market.
AI based या AI generated content will also be coming in huge numbers in coming years, where people leverage these tools to just churn out more and more content.
I think AI is non-avoidable. AI is the biggest elephant in the room that the creator economy has ever seen. And I also feel that it is the biggest existential threat to creators.
So as a creator, you always are obsessed over कि यार मेरे को likes इतने चाहिए, मेरे views नहीं आ रहे. We see their detrimental impact as well, कि थोड़ी mental health लोगों की toss पे चली जाती है.
That is a real risk. In this world in which we live, there's always going to be somebody who's upping the game. No, it's not an equals game. Somebody is doing better in something and somebody is doing lesser.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Growthcast podcast. And if content creation is something that you want to start, then this episode is a masterclass for you. Because I have with me Ankur Mehra, who is writer of Pixel to Profits, and he is also a seasoned veteran, coming from the army background, then moving to corporate sector, and then understanding the creator economy is something which comes naturally to him. आज के एपिसोड में हम अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे कि अगर आप एक क्रिएटर हो, आपको कैसे बिल्ड करना चाहिए अपना पूरा बिजनेस around the creator economy. Stay tuned till the end because you're going to find this episode really, really interesting. Hi Ankur, welcome to Growthcast podcast. And before I start anything, I wanted to know a story behind Pixels to Profit and what motivated you to write this book.
Hi Shashank, first of all, thank you for having me at this pod. I've been a very avid follower of the content that you put out. It's great. So I'm very happy and pleased to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, coming back to the question, Pixels to Profits is a topic which is very close to my heart because I've been, for the longest time, from the starting of my career, I've been a consumer of content, right? I've always been consuming content, and I don't know whether you're aware, but when I started my career, it was from the Indian Army. So in the Indian Army, we were posted at, various God-forsaken places and all. And at that time, the only way that we could connect with the rest of the world was through a radio at a transistor at that time, So content has always been very integral for me, and I felt very attached to the fact that even in those far-flung areas, if I had a way to connect with my family or friends, it could only be through content, right? And then fast forward to many years later, I was working in a media company, a broadcasting traditional media company. And then during my journey of my career, I've had a chance to also work with some of the major global content conglomerates across the world. So whether it was North America, Latin America, Asia Pacific, or Europe, I've had a chance to work with content creators from all of these different markets. And so my love for content and content creation has always been very, very sort of pronounced. And when I came back to India a couple of years back, that was a time when I thought that I might as well start to use my time and my learnings from all that I've learned across the world and put it down in a book that can help the content creators achieve their goals of financial independence or even for creating a community in a much effective manner. So that's when the concept of Pixels to Profits came up, and I finished writing it a few months back.
Great to know that you talked very rightly about content creators कि वो कैसे अपने distribution को use कर सकते हैं to generate profit. But if we look at a content creator in today's age, there are many people who are coming into this industry. So as a creator, how does one stand out or make sure कि there is a differentiating factor in there?
Nobody can do this better than you yourself. You should be the best person to answer this because you do such great content. But I think in my experience, what I've seen is that you're right. This space is getting really cluttered.
Right.
There are more and more content creators. In fact, the statistic that I was reading some days back was that India has about 80 million creators.
That is a
staggering number. But of course, not all of them are creators. People like who just make one sort of chota sa reel in a month will also call themselves creators, right? But when it comes down to more serious sort of creators, India still has about 2.5 to 4 million creators, which is also pretty huge, like
right.
25 lakhs to 40 lakhs. But the interesting piece is that even though there might be 4 million creators in India who are serious creators, less than 1% of them actually make a sustainable income. Which means that most of 99.9% of the people who are making content aren't really being able to make any sort of headway into creating an economy for themselves. And I think the one reason for that, which newcoming or up and coming creators should always look for, is that how can they not just go after vanity metrics of likes and impressions, but how can they start creating more valuable trust between them and their audiences?
Right.
How can they have more continued conversations which are not just meaningless conversations, but conversations that actually resonate with their audiences? One thing I cover in the book is also is also an acronym called the 3R concept, which basically means relevancy, recency, and relatability. Which means that as a newcomer, as a new creator, if you're making content, if you are taking care of these 3Rs, which is making your content which is recent as what's going on, making it relevant for the people, for the audiences that you're doing it for, and making it more relatable to the audiences, chances are that your content will do much better if you were to just make random content or mindless content.
Right.
So I mean, that's my tip for new and upcoming creators.
नहीं, आई थिंक वेरी राइटली सेड, क्योंकि मैं भी अपने कंटेंट को देखता हूँ. सो बेसिकली आई बकेटेड इनटू 3 थिंग्स. फर्स्ट इज कि इफ यू आर मेकिंग अ कंटेंट, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू ऑप्टिमाइज फॉर ट्रस्ट फैक्टर. कि आप कुछ कंटेंट ऐसा बनाओगे जो आपको पता है कि यार ये पिक नहीं करेगा, बट इफ समबडी कम्स टू माय फीड, दे वॉच, दे फील कि अंकुर तो यार काफी अच्छी बातें करते हैं. देन आप कुछ कंटेंट ऐसा बनाओगे जो थोड़ा रिलेटेबल होगा, कि जिसको लगेगा कि अच्छा हाँ यार ये मेरे साथ हो रखा है. एंड थर्ड पीस ऑफ कंटेंट, जनरली टू ग्रो यू हैव टू देन ऑप्टिमाइज फॉर वायरलिटी एज वेल. कि कोई ट्रेंडिंग सीजनैलिटी, जैसे फॉर करियर आई नो कि इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कि ये जॉब ओपनिंग आई है वो हमेशा पिक करेगा. इफ आई से कि इफ यू आर सिटिंग इन रूम विद अंकुर, इस तरह की इंटरव्यू बेसिक्स होनी चाहिए, शायद ना पिक करे, क्योंकि लोगों को लगता है क्या ये तो पता ही है, ये तो जनरल नॉलेज है. तो दैट इज वन थिंग. बट आपके वो फर्स्ट पॉइंट पे जस्ट आई वांट टू डबल डाउन कि ये वैनिटी मेट्रिक्स से माइंडसेट कैसे शिफ्ट करे. बिकॉज एज अ क्रिएटर यू ऑलवेज आर ऑब्सेस्ड ओवर कि यार मेरे को लाइक्स इतने चाहिए, मेरे व्यूज नहीं आ रहे. और फिर वो एक डाउन द रोड आप एक ऐसा है कि आप अगर उस लूप में घुसो तो आप घुसते ही चले जाते हो. एंड देन वी सी देयर डेट्रीमेंटल इम्पैक्ट एज वेल, कि थोड़ी मेंटल हेल्थ लोगों की टॉस पे चली जाती है.
No, that is a real risk, I think, because you know, I mean, in this world in which we live, there's always going to be somebody who's upping the game.
Right.
Like, you know, there's always, it's not an equals game. Everybody, somebody is doing better in something and somebody is doing lesser. So it becomes sort of a bottomless pit if you start comparing yourself and playing the comparison game. कि अच्छा भाई शशांक क्या कर रहा है, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, वैभव क्या कर रहा है, and how can I, you know, compare myself and how can I get better than the other person. But the point being that if you are very true to your trade and if you know कि आप किस मुद्दे पे बात कर रहे हो और आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है और आपके ऑडियंसेस के लिए क्या इम्पोर्टेंट है, then I think the whole scenario comes down to the point that, okay, take it slow. Something like what you said, you know, you've got to feed the amplification vehicle as well. You've got to look out for the virality aspects as well. But for the bulk of your content, which is about 60 to 70% of your content, you should try and make it based on something which is more relatable and relevant for your audiences.
Right.
You know, so maybe be more scientific, be more mathematical about the way you're making content. Just not randomly start comparing yourself to the next person and just going in that route of अच्छा इसने ऐसा कंटेंट बनाया तो मैं भी ऐसा बनाता हूँ.
Right.
वो ना करते हुए अगर आप थोड़े से साइंटिफिक और थोड़े मैथमेटिकल हो जाओ अपने कंटेंट क्रिएशन टेक्निक को लेते हुए, कि ठीक है मेरे ऑडियंसेस ये हैं एंड उनके लिए मैं 60 to 70% कंटेंट ऐसा बनाऊंगा जो उनको वैल्यू देगा एक्चुअली में, एंड 30 to 40% कंटेंट आई विल ट्राई एंड एम्पलीफाई और आई विल ट्राई टू सॉल्व फॉर वायरलिटी एंड आई विल ट्राई टू क्रिएट you know, content which can be more amplified in that sense.
Got it. And I think everything ties down to the title of the book, Pixels to Profit. Why this particular title and what's the rationale behind it?
Yeah, actually, let me be honest. A little bit of an inspiration came from Atomic Habits. So Atomic Habits, as you know, the first word is something which is atoms, which is the smallest particular piece in the universe. And the other one is habit, which is the most consistent piece. You know, even everybody has habits, something or the other. So over here, Pixels to Profit for me was like, if you look at a video, and we spoke about content earlier,
right.
तो content को जो सबसे छोटा piece होता है वो होता है pixel, right? I mean, everything starts from pixel, which is the tiniest piece. And how do you actually make pixels join each other and start telling a story out of it? And how can you actually build profit from that storytelling that you're doing? That is why the word Pixels to Profits comes into.
Great. I was also going through the chapter, Ankur. There is one chapter where you talk about the ABC of everything. Would you like to double down on that chapter and help audience understand what is ABC of everything?
Yeah, there are, again, I've used a few acronyms in the book, but ABC basically is that when you come into the content creation space, like we were talking about earlier, कुछ लोग होते हैं जो उसमें घुसते हैं and हार्ड वर्क करते हैं, लगे रहते हैं, you know, and they do diligence and they are very diligent in what they're doing and they perseverance उनका बहुत level का high होता है and they continue even if they don't see success they're still going on and on and on. कुछ लोग होते हैं जो आते हैं, ट्राई करते हैं, नहीं समझ में आया तो फिर you know they jump off. And कुछ लोग होते हैं जो साइड में बैठे रहते हैं, देखते रहते हैं दूर से कि अच्छा ये हो क्या रहा है, मे बी आज I should make content, maybe tomorrow I should do it, maybe day after tomorrow. I'm guilty of that too. I mean, I've always been thinking को video content बनाना है अपने LinkedIn पे, but I always keep thinking maybe next week, maybe this Saturday, maybe tomorrow. You know, I keep on doing that. So these are the fence sitters. So ABC really stands for A is for actioneers. These are the people who get into action mode very quickly. B are the people who are born naturals. The actioneers are people with perseverance. They continue doing the grunt work, you know, and they continue putting in that effort.
Rahul Dravids of content creation.
Exactly. Even if they're not successful in the initial spaces, but they continue. They're the wall. You know, they keep on going. The second one is the born naturals. The born naturals are the people जो बस आते हैं and they are God gifted. You know, I mean, if they do one small thing also, they are like, they just zoom up. Let's say Sachin Tendulkar.
Right.
Okay. They're just God gifted. And the C is the curious onlookers. People like me who are sitting on the side and thinking, okay, maybe this is the right time. Maybe I should go start playing cricket tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. But they are just sitting on the fence. So the whole, in this particular chapter, I give out 3-4 examples of creators who are in the A category or the B category or the C category. And how are they, how has their journey been? So, you know, for example, there's a lady called Risa Tisa. Risa Tisa is a content creator and she is on TikTok. And she just started making content one day sitting in a car because she was having a relationship issue with her boyfriend. And she started to talk about it sitting in the car, सामने camera लगा के she just started talking to the camera like a documentary. She made some 30, 40, 50 episodes like this. Before she even knew it, those 30, 40, 50 episodes became the most viral and the most watched videos series on TikTok itself globally.
Oh, wow.
And she was just a natural. You know, she didn't have to build anything. She didn't have to do any face makeups or she didn't have to script her storytelling and all. She was just being natural in front of the camera. And that is what resonated so much ki, you know, she became a world famous personality on TikTok. So that is the example of a born natural, a B category.
Got it. And I think if we talk about consistency, then the best could be Mr. Beast, who is being consistent with his content throughout.
No, that's an actioneer. That's an A.
Actioneer.
Yeah.
A lot of Indian podcasters also, like I see Raj Shimani and
exactly. Yeah.
consistently going there and put out.
Yeah.
So
Ankur Warikoo is a great example and mostly sane. There's so many of them, Indian creators who are doing extremely well for themselves, but because they've been on and at it, you know. And then, of course, we spoke about 80 million creators, about 4 million are serious creators,
right?
Which means the 76 million are the C category, the curious onlookers, you know, who are thinking of maybe getting into it full time one day or putting in more effort on it, but haven't been able to get there so far.
So it's likely touched on consistency piece. Ankur, you come from an army background, you have worked at big corporates. How big role does consistency plays, not only in content creation, but in general, अगर आपको life में कुछ अच्छा करना हो?
Consistency, I mean, that's again out of personal experience, but I feel like in anything that we endeavor to do, हम कुछ भी करने की कोशिश करेंगे, अगर हम consistent नहीं होंगे उस effort के अंदर पे, I don't think we'll ever be able to see success.
Right.
You know, I mean, we might see spikes, but we'll also see valleys then. So, but if we are able to be consistent, then over a period of time, these peaks and valleys will level out and you end up getting into some trajectory mode. Consistency is equal to compounding in my opinion.
Right.
So if you want compounded growth in your life in the future, you have got to start being consistent in whatever you're doing today.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be only content, it could be anything in your life.
Right. And what are some of the things that you have learned in Indian Army that you still deploy in your day-to-day life in terms of consistency, routine, वो जो चीज रहती है?
I think that's a great question, but it's a very nuanced question. Do we have 2-3 hours? Because this will take time. No, but I'll keep it narrow. I think, yes, there's a few things that I learned from the army that I will always value the most, and they have always kept me in the right path. Of course, consistency, perseverance is one. There's an element of never say die, you know, in the army. we just don't give up, you know. So, I mean, कुछ भी हो जाए, we always tend to see the positive side of whatever the situation one might be in.
Right.
So that is the second big thing. The third big thing that I learned from the army is how to be a people person or how to be a team player. And it's not about leading teams. It's also being a team player. It's also being a good follower. It's also making sure that you are somebody who enables your other team members also, even if you're not leading the team yourself, you
Right.
know. So the esprit de corps, जिसको बोलते हैं कि how do you come together as a unit is very important. And I think the one of the most important things that I learned was the value of being able to have a purpose in life.
Right.
Like for example, हम फौज में अक्सर बोलते हैं कि नाम, नमक and निशान. These are the three things that are the things that we lay down our life for. Similarly, now, of course, in the corporate, one doesn't expect you to lay down your life, but at least if you have a strong purpose to where you want to go or what you want to achieve, because it is guided by a principle, that makes life much more meaningful and your journey much, much more fruitful.
राइट नहीं, आई थिंक वेरी राइटली सेट, क्योंकि काफ़ी चीज़ें हैं जो आपने अभी कि वो रेजोनेट कर रही है मेरे साथ भी, कि इफ़ यू हैव टू डू वेल एटलीस्ट कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ एक रूटीन, एंड दैट आई थिंक अप्लाइज टू अ क्रिएटर एज वेल, कि लाइक यू टोल्ड, इफ द लेडी हु पोस्टेड 40-50 वीडियोस, उसके बाद इफ शी कुड हैव gone silent, तो वो जो growth हुई थी वो that would have died out because algorithms and platforms are designed in such a way. But थोड़ा सा मैं shift करता हूँ अंकुर, I like to talk about, you have seen creator economy across the globe. What are some of the things that are very natural to say a Indian creator compared to creators outside? क्या कुछ differences हैं, and how do you see both of these economies playing out, or they are more or less similar only?
See, by and large, human beings are similar.
Right.
Whether we are whoever we are, wherever we live, not that people in Mexico will be different people than people in Russia.
Right.
Human beings generally are similar people. Content creator economy is different at all levels because there's a level of maturity in every market, right? What I see in the US or let's say in the UK content creation or creator economy is rather different from what I would see in a Vietnam,
Right.
Because the levels of development are different in those markets. The other big difference that I see in India particularly is that there is a lot of, because India is a country of many countries, there is a element of the creator economy being very, very sort of nuanced over here because there's a very heterogeneous market here in India,
Right.
as compared to, let's say, the Western markets, which are very homogeneous broadly. So whatever resonates at one point resonates till the last point. But over here, whatever might resonate in, let's say, in North might not resonate so well in the East.
So we see a lot of regional creators.
And that is the reason why we see a lot of smaller creators do extremely well in India.
Right.
So and I was again based on a statistic that I was reading a few days back, the mega creators have got an engagement rate of 1.52% or something like that. But the smaller, the micro or the nano creators have an engagement rate of upwards of 6 to 7%.
That is huge.
Which means that every time a smaller creator is talking, the community is resonating more with them as compared to even what the mega creator, the top creator is talking about.
Right.
Now, obviously, the top creator has advantages of the numbers. So obviously, they, even 2% is big number over there. But actually, on ground, regional markets के अंदर पे regional creators, local creators have got a much, much better sort of influence on their audiences as compared to national level, which is not what you see in other Western homogeneous markets.
Right. Because यहाँ regional nuances का play आ जाता है. But one trend that we also see, Ankur, picking up is कि lot of founders are now becoming creators.
Yeah.
Because they have identified कि if we have to build organic distribution, we have to become creators. So is this trend that you see कि it is maybe slightly for the short run, or it will be there in the long run, कि if you are a founder or a business owner, you also have to put your face out there कि I strongly believe in brand and these are my learning, this is my persona, उससे आप brand को थोड़ा push करने की कोशिश करो?
Well, I think there are two aspects to this question. I don't think, number one, it is necessary for all founders to become creators, but I definitely think it is important for brands to become creators. Let me differentiate over here. So in the book, I talk about something which is very core to the book. It's a 5C concept, right? Now, in the 5C, this is the sum all of the creator economy, like, right? So the first C is the creator. The creators are the heart and soul of the creator economy. We all know, right? Then there's the creator. Then there's a community. Community of people like you and me who are consuming that content. Then there is the channels. Channels are the platforms like Facebooks, Instagrams, YouTubes of the world. Just make सब content जा रहा है. The fourth is the commerce piece, where how is a creator making money other than ad dollars, right? What are the avenues that they're making money? I think so. Basically, if you look at it, the creators, the community, and the channels, they are the well-established ones, right? Because all of these three, there are millions of creators, there are billions of community members, and there are those channels which are very well pronounced where the content is flowing. So those three are taken care of. I feel that in the next 5 years, 7 years, the main transition is going to happen from the last two, which is the commerce and the collaborators. The commerce piece, because all the creators will start moving from just content creation to becoming small and medium brands by themselves.
Right.
So they'll become businesses. They will start to monetize content more than more than just making content on the platform. They will start to become entrepreneurs by themselves. They will have their own merchandise, their own courses, their own different tracks where they can make money. So more and more creators will become brands. And the fifth C, which is the collaborators or the brands, these brands will start becoming more and more creators because they want to start having a personality of their own, which can resonate with their consumers or their audiences, right? So for example, if you look at examples like Zomato in India, or you look at Ryanair, or you look at Duolingo, these are global brands. These are global brands that are becoming creators by themselves.
Right.
And why they're becoming creators is because they want to continue to relate more with the end user, the consumer, the community, etc.
Right.
So I think the last two pieces, which is commerce, where creators are turning brands and brands are turning creators, that's going to be the theme of the next 3 to 5 to 7 years. But not necessarily, I would say that all founders have to become creators. May or may not be. That might not happen, but definitely brands will become creators.
Great. And Ankur, if I double down on the AI piece, there are a lot of tools that create your AI avatars, and now people have started leveraging them for creating the content. So do you see ki AI based or AI generated content will also be coming in huge numbers in coming years, where people leverage these tools to just churn out more and more content?
I think AI is non-avoidable. AI is the biggest elephant in the room that the creator economy has ever seen. And I also feel that it is the biggest existential threat to creators.
Right.
Because content creation has become everybody's game now. Through AI, I don't even have to be a content creator, but I can still make great content. And probably better content without getting tired, without looking bad, at any time of the day, at any location of the world, or even out of the world.
Right.
So as an individual, if I know how to leverage AI, I can be a much better creator than a creator who's actually making 3 pieces a week or 5 pieces a week, because every piece is human led and there's a lot of effort that goes behind every content. So I feel like definitely AI is going to disrupt the game very, very brutally. But I also feel that authenticity is going to be the key differentiator as we move ahead. People are following people not because, like we were talking about earlier,
Right.
people don't follow people because they have any lack of content in the world. They follow because they trust you. They follow because they value this connection with you. They follow because they want to know what a Shashank is thinking about next, and how can I, what benefit will that be for me, and how can I, engage with that more. That may not be replaceable through AI.
Right.
So I feel like while AI is going to create a lot of volume, but the value will come from true creators, which will be human led. And eventually, value will always win over volume.
Right. That is such a powerful line, that value will always win over volume. I'll come to the last question that I have, Ankur. So you right now told that you are also exploring opportunities in maybe different parts of the world. So which is one part of the world where you feel ki there is immense potential for creators? I'm coming from a point of view that we now see also that a lot of creators, they want to shift base to Dubai, because Dubai has came up with a creator program. So are there any opportunities that creators can explore out?
Dubai is definitely one of those markets. Dubai, when I say, I mean the whole of Middle East region.
Yeah.
The entire Middle East region is a very, very lucrative market for content creators right now. There are bodies like the Creators HQ, which has come up over there, which is doing a brilliant job in terms of creating a community for creators to come in and benefit from. Similarly, Abu Dhabi has invested themselves heavily in the
Nice.
creator economy. Saudi has invested themselves heavily. Middle East as a whole, as a unit, is coming out very strongly in terms of how can they cultivate the creator economy. For them, it feels like creator economy is a new oil.
Right.
So they're definitely doubling down on that, and which is very good news for anybody in the creator economy space, whether you're a creator or whether you're a non-creator but in the business of the creator economy.
Right.
Also, right? That is one. But also, I feel like India itself is a very interesting market because the sheer volume of the creators that we have over here and the sheer size of the community that we have over here, this is a very sort of open market, if you might say, at this point. And success can be anybody's for taking. I
Right.
mean, it's not a question of having lesser resources, or in fact, the government of India has announced a $1 billion fund for
Great.
just for the creator economy, and also that's a great initiative in the direction where we are trying to promote the creator economy, and not only just promote the economy but also kind of build the infrastructure around it.
Right.
So I think these markets, emerging markets, are where the next level of the game-changing experience will be. I do feel like markets like US and other developed markets, UK, they are also good, but I think they might be at a point of where saturation is about to hit.
Right.
If there's a hockey stick growth curve that's expected to happen, it's going to happen from those emerging markets, those developing markets. That's where the end of the bottom of the rainbow is for, I think, most of the creator economy.
Great. I think, guys, you got the whole roadmap on how to build your creator journey. Plus, there's this book that Ankur has written, Pixels to Profit. I think if you read it, you will get every framework that Ankur has described here. And I also have some signed copies. So, those of you will comment in the comment section one takeaway from this podcast. I'll make sure that we are sending you that signed copy.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Ankur, for taking out time. That was great interacting with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Shashank. It was lovely being here.
Thank you.